Hello there, thanks for joining me. My name's Jason, and as I said, thank you for joining me. And in joining me, I want to make a special invitation to you. I want to invite you to come and join me in a very profound, special weekend of Tantra that is beyond massage. And today I'm talking to you about what is Tantra beyond tantric massage, and in this invitation for you to join me in Brooklyn on June, Saturday the 3rd and Sunday the 4th for a 2-day weekend workshop, we're going to be exploring Tantra beyond the understanding of tantric massage. Now, sometimes what I see out there is that tantric massage can be misrepresented for the practice of Tantra. And for me, tantric massage is just a very, very thin slice of the whole practice of Tantra. It's basically, if you imagine a whole cake, you know, tantric massage is just one, kind of like 1 or 2% of that. But Tantra, in a nutshell, is the fusion of your sexual energy with your spiritual energy. And actually, when you bring these two, they create experiences like bliss and like ecstasy. And it's said that the vibration of bliss is the vibration of the universe. And one of the things that different spiritual disciplines are talking about is that this bliss is actually around you all of the time. And for me, within that bliss, the enlightenment is within the nothingness. It's within the silence of that. What I'm going to do is I'd love to invite you to join me in a little exercise. So just sitting comfortably where you are, okay, maybe just take in a deep breath and just let yourself exhale nice and slowly, taking in another deep breath and then exhaling. Give it the ah sound on the way out. And I want you to get your two hands like this, and I want you to close your eyes for me, okay? You'll still be able to hear me, hopefully. And I want you to just close your eyes a moment and just come to that still place within you for a moment. And what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're looking out of your head on a starry, starry night, okay? You're looking out for starry night. And as you look, there's like one star that catches your attention more than the others. And it's a bit like a stage spotlight. It's something like beams on the top of your head. And I kind of want you to imagine, if you've ever stood underneath a stage spotlight, you'll kind of know that you can feel the heat, you can feel the warmth, and you can feel that white light on you. And I kind of want you to bring that feeling up in your body. And then take in another breath. Now, the universal law is that energy follows thought. So I want you to imagine that you're bringing this energy down. So breathing it and it coming down. On the out breath, you're pulling it down to your eyebrows and ears. Down over your ears, your nose, and your cheeks, and your mouth. Bringing it down over your shoulders. Bringing it down over your chest and your elbows. Down to your cock and your pelvis. Down over your buttocks and your legs. Over your calves and your feet. And as I'm bringing this white energy in, what I'm already aware of, even before I've talked to you about the specific exercises, I'm already aware that I can feel like this energy kind of moving through my fingers, and it's kind of like tingling. And I want you to imagine that you're passing it between your two fingers. And if you move your hands ever so slightly, you'll kind of get this sense of like something solid. You'll get this sense of something that's like tingling, or something that's like metal, something that's like solid there. And I want you just to keep the visualization of bringing this white energy down into your heart, and kind of imagining that you're passing it through your the palms of your hands. And as I said, the universal law is that energy follows thought. So if you think energy is happening somewhere, it is happening somewhere. Okay, so at the moment I'm just thinking it between these two hands of mine, okay, and just visualizing that. And if you can bring your heart or your feeling self into kind of connecting with that, just visualize for a moment kind of what that feels like for you. Just imagine what that feels like. And what I want you to do now is I kind of want you to kind of pass it down your arm, okay? Feel it kind of going. And as you move it across your body, you'll get a sense of this, this energy. And as I said, when you're bringing yourself to feeling it, it can feel, it's kind of got a quality of lightness, whiteness. And if you're joining me live on YouTube, I am watching the chat window, so please do feel free to share your experience, share what's happening. Let me just open that live chat window so I can see any comments. But you're kind of looking for that energy. As you pass it down, you might actually feel it kind of going through your forearm, through your fingertips, through your thing. And for me, this energy is called like universal energy, and it's basically what the universe is made up of. It's kind of what's around us all of the time, but we just kind of lose connection with that on a day-to-day basis, you know, as we're getting involved in our in our day-to-day lives. We kind of lose connection that there's this idea of bliss, this idea of energy that's around us all of the time. Now, why am I saying that to you? Well, for me, the practice of Tantra, it's the fusion of your sexual energy, it's the fusion of your body, and it's also the fusion of your spiritual energy. And what I just wanted to give you there was just a very, very quick example of what the spiritual energy feels like. So you kind of get a sense of that. And if you imagine then bringing that with your sexual energy into the whole of your body, not just your cock, then you suddenly get a sense that actually there's a lot more going on here to play with. There's a lot more that's available. One of the questions I get asked quite a lot is, well, what exactly is Tantra? Isn't it just this thing that that Sting mentioned? Whenever I've talked to anybody about Tantra, they're always telling me, isn't that what Sting did? But for me, Tantra is the ultimate fusion of your sexual energy and your spiritual energy, and bringing these together. And what these do is they create what I call enlightened experiences, or we also call it awareness, or we call it consciousness, but these are very kind of what I call different enlightened states. And in Buddhism and Hindu traditions, Tantra or tantric practice is one of the pathways, one of these spiritual pathways. Yoga is another spiritual pathway, and Zen Buddhism is also a very quiet way about going into the silence and being with that same bliss. And the thing I really love about Tantra is the way that it brings you into your body. I think there's so many times in our lives, like our heads run away with themselves, where we get kind of lost and we kind of forget our body. And what I love is that Tantra only works when you bring in your body with the spiritual and with the sexual energy. Now, okay, being on a spiritual path sounds a very nice idea. Um, but for me, the other thing that Tantra does is it really brings you face to face with things that you might be struggling with in your life. You know, some of you may be watching today where you've had histories of maybe sexual abuse or mental abuse, or you've had different relationships that haven't worked, and things that you've struggled to be with. And the thing I love about Tantra is that it, in doing different practices, different meditations, different like intimacy exercises, different massages, there's like lots of different types of ecstatic energy work. It kind of brings up all the stuff that you might be struggling with. And the reason why that's a good thing is because it gives you the opportunity to actually start healing from that, to actually start, you know, really exploring what's happening and what's going on, and to kind of start to get a deeper awareness. And once you've got that awareness, you know, like sometimes, you know, if somebody's had a history of abuse, they, for example, may feel awkward if somebody's touching them. But actually, in their day-to-day life, they may not be in a place where somebody is touching them very often, so they're not going to be triggered by that. But equally, they could have designed and developed their life where they're not actually being touched, and that can be an incredibly lonely and an incredibly desperate place. And so the thing I love about Tantra is it would bring you to that same place, but because you're in a loving community of men, and because I'm with you with my different psychotherapy skills, I'm able to kind of gently guide you so that you've got some choices about how you might be able to do that differently. So for me, when I talk about Tantra, one of the things it does is spiritual development. It's going to give you very, very profound experiences that kind of feel a bit like this, but also feel like a tingly, and you'll also heard, you know, people talking about the idea of becoming multi-orgasmic. And so one of the things it's doing is this spiritual development. The other thing I talked about as well is that it's also for personal growth and personal development. And if you're looking for a place to kind of work through some stuff, you know, maybe you always struggle in relationships, you know, maybe they always fall apart after a year, or, you know, maybe you struggle to know how to be in touch with men in your life. All of these things Tantra are going to be able to do. The other thing that it does is it really improves your sex, okay? There's no two ways about this. I would say the sex I'm having now, after 15, 20 years of Tantra, is much, much better than the sex I was having in my 20s. And that's because I kind of feel like I know my body a lot better now, and I feel not so shy to ask for things that I would really, really like to experience. And I find that because I've you know, been really lucky to work through some of the different issues and things that have held me back, I just kind of feel like this more freedom inside of myself. I don't know, you know, when I talk about Tantra in the things on the website, I talk about inner freedom, and it's because you've kind of done practices, techniques that are sometimes a little bit challenging, but profoundly ecstatic and beautiful. For me, that kind of creates like a kind of an inner freedom and an inner confidence. And as I said, there's things I do now, and things that I love to explore now that I wouldn't have been able to do. And I'm much more present in my sex as well, and I'm much more confident to be able to want to voice my needs. And the other thing that Tantra does is it kind of changes the perception of the world around you. You know, sometimes we can get so hung up on different problems, so hung up on different issues, that we kind of just, you know, believe that that's the truth. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I've been, you know, very, very frightened about something, and I've kind of made it a really big thing in my head, when actually the fear didn't really exist in the first place. And because of the spiritual teachings as part of the overall parts of Tantra, it kind of gives you like a different pair of glasses to look out into the world with. So for me, you know, Tantra above Tantric massage is all of these different things. And the other thing that it gives you is, I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like a sense of orgasm that you've never had before, that kind of goes through your whole body. And as a spiritual person, I believe in different spiritual realms and places, and I feel that through Tantra, I've been really privileged and lucky in some of the profound experiences I've had to actually go to these places and to visit these places, and to witness them and see them. So there's like so many different reasons. And the other thing that I really, really love, I don't know about you, but in my day-to-day world, I kind of sometimes find it difficult to find people that are like me. You know, to find other men that are spiritually aware, sexually aware, that kind of believe in personal growth, that believe in love, believe in accepting everybody as they are. And the other thing I love about Tantra is it kind of creates its own community that share those values. You know, I talk to people about my politics, and my thing I'm saying at the moment is my politics is love. You know, that's what I get up every day to do. My politics is love. So this weekend workshop that I'm offering you in Brooklyn, New York, specifically, what is it that you're going to experience? Well, I've talked about what Tantra is, and we're going to be doing lots of elements of bits of those. I'm going to just talk you through the different details of that. So one of the questions that we'll answer in the weekend is, what is tantric ritual? What is sacred? What is spiritual? And how can you create and have some of these profound experiences that I'm talking about? Well, you're going to learn and experience touch beyond massage. Massage for me normally focuses on techniques and quality of touch, but in this weekend I'm going to show you some beautiful techniques about how to combine energy and intuition, and that's going to kind of take your touch and your massage sessions to a whole place that, you know, you're likely not to have been there before. We're also going to focus on moving and creating sexual energy. And for some of you, that's going to be a whole new experience. Like, we've been brought up in our sex that your sexual energy sits in your cock, sits in your area, and once you ejaculate, you can't. But I've got a whole new bag of tricks to show you that's going to create these experiences that you have down here kind of all over your body. In Tantra, we talk a lot about chakras. And in this workshop, you're going to be introduced to them. Both, I'm going to give you a little talk on them and give you lots of information, but I'm also going to get you to do some meditation practices that helps like integrate your sexual energy. So if any of you saw the Davey Wavy Igniting Your Sexual Power stuff that I did, I was talking in there about banging one note on a piano, and that typically sex is banging one note on a piano harder and faster to get more thrill out of it. Well, in this weekend, I'm going to show you how to play different notes on the piano and introduce you to 7 different notes. And then basically you're going to have lots of different information, techniques, practices, different experiences, and the weekend will evolve where you're going to be able to be in and create with another person in the workshop a very beautiful sacred tantric ritual where you'll be able to use some of the techniques and practices that I've showed you to create something that's incredibly beautiful and incredibly profound. And for me, everything that you're doing here, whilst some of it involves massage, it's not in the conventional sense. It's like taking it deeper to a deeper level of intimacy and a deeper level of connection and intimacy with other men. And you're going to have a tantric tool bag to take away with you where you're going to have different things that you can integrate into your experiences with other men. I find, you know, one of the other things I talk about is as gay men, we sometimes, you know, want intimacy, but actually we confuse intimacy with sex, and we kind of have only known one way to have sex. So this weekend's going to give you some very different ideas about how to share intimacy with other men that may be more sensual, maybe more fluid, maybe more beautiful and opening. So let me just recap for you. This video today was just to talk to you a little bit more about what is Tantra beyond massage, and hopefully you got a good sense of that and you kind of felt some of that energy that we were doing. And this is also to give you some more information about the weekend workshop that I'm doing in Brooklyn on June the 3rd and 4th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. It's going to cost you $395, but actually as a special gift for you watching this, if you book it in the next 48 hours, okay, so the next 48 hours, I think that's to 12 o'clock on Tuesday. If you book before then and put Jason Live in the comments, I'm going to give you a 50%, sorry, 50%, I'm going to give you a $50 discount, nearly, a $50 discount. So if you book before Tuesday, because I really want you to come and enjoy this weekend. There's already 10 really beautiful men booked to come along, and I'd love you to come along and join us. Listen, what I'm going to do now very quickly is I'm just going to play you a film, okay? And that's just going to talk and show you a little bit more of the feeling of this weekend. So I hope you enjoyed that little film and that just gave you a little bit of a flavour of what we're going to be doing in these 2 days. Listen, you don't need to have any previous experience to come along to this workshop, just a willingness to give stuff a try. And the workshop itself already has many men that have no previous experience. So if you don't have any, then you're going to be in very good hands. And the other thing to say is that if you're coming to the workshop and you have some experience of massage or some experience of Tantra, this is going to add from a very spiritual perspective to take some of the techniques and practices that you've learned and kind of help integrate some what I call discourse or kind of some philosophy, and we're going to kind of be linking those together. So, as I said, I hope you choose to come and join me. If you're looking at this on the Tantra4GayMen website, there's different links to the workshop page to give you more information and more, and the book now button. And as I said, you know, there's the discount if you book before Tuesday. So, yeah, come and join me. Come and enjoy a really beautiful group with other men for a 2-day journey that's going to be very profound, very beautiful. And leave you touched, leave you moved, and leave you with more things, more about Tantra, more understanding. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and thank you for joining me. Take care for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.